First shot.
bodybuilders. Video तो हो जाएगा ना. First shot तो जैन दिसे
Sister, my colleagues, parents, guardians, and dear students. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we celebrate the feast of Saint John Bosco. So I wish all of you a very happy feast day. On this special occasion, I stand here to speak a few words on the life of Saint John Bosco. It is said, God sends the world saints when they are most needed, not men and women of general holiness, but specialized experts who fit into the pattern of the times and are capable of giving God's tone to the century. And it was that on 16th August 1815, a healthy, acute baby was sent by God named John Bosco to Francis and Margaret Bosco in a small hilly village in a town called Turin, Italy.
Yes, yes.
Just 2 years after his birth, Francis Bosco died of pneumonia, leaving Margaret in charge of John Bosco and his two brothers, namely Anthony and Joseph. The family experienced the hardship of poverty, but Margaret was a woman of courage and faith and taught the boys that work was a privilege and so they had to take up their responsibility. One day, Margaret and John Bosco were walking along the countryside and met one of the local priests. "Hello, Father," shouted John, but priest only gave a curt bow of his head. Deeply hurt, John told his mother that when he grew up, he would be a priest and talk to the children all the time and do everything possible for them. When John Bosco was 9 years old, he had a dream that impacted him for the rest of his life. In the dream, he saw himself in a field and there were some children playing and having fun. But among them were some who were insulting and fighting with each other. John approached them and tried to control the situation and started yelling and punishing those who were misbehaving. Suddenly a man appeared and motioned to John and said, "Not with punches will you help these boys, but with goodness and kindness." "Who are you?" asked John. Then a woman appeared to him. She put her arms around John and said, What I do?" John looked. The boys suddenly changed.
Very good.
The boys suddenly changed to a pack of wild animals and John was afraid. Then the woman again put out her hands and the wild animals changed into a flock of lambs. John Bosco asked the lady, "What does it mean? I am just a farm boy. What can I do?" and burst into tears. The woman said, "This is the field of your work. Be humble, steadfast and strong." John Bosco now knew his vocation. At the age of 20 in 1835, John Bosco joined the seminary to become a priest, and on 5th June 1841, he was ordained to the priesthood in Turin. From then, the name John Bosco changed into Don Bosco. Don is the title given to a priest in Italy. On the day of his first Mass at Saint Francis of Assisi, he asked God for the gift of efficacy of speech, and it was done so. On the feast of Mary Immaculate on 8th December 1841, when he was hastening for the Mass, he heard the sacristan shouting at a boy who had entered the church to get warm up. Don Bosco called the sacristan to call the boy because he said the boy was his friend. Don Bosco asked his name. The boy replied that his name was Bartolomeo Gadali and he was 16 years old. Bosco asked the boy, "Can you serve Mass?" "No," replied the boy. "And I am a bricklayer." Bosco asked, "Can you whistle?" The boy whistled happily. He asked the boy to stay for the mass, and both of them laughed and played till the evening. In the evening, Don Bosco asked the boy to bring his companions the next Sunday. The boy brought another four of his friends who were ragged and shabby the following Sunday. Thus, the number of boys increased, and there was no place in Don Bosco's house. During the weekdays, Don Bosco visited the streets of Turin and called the boys to come and join him or spend the day with him. In this way, he educated the boys and girls. He named those places as oratory. Oratory means a place where the youth gathered around Don Bosco for prayers and recreational activities. Don Bosco's motto was, "Give me souls and take away the rest." Once, in a stormy night in 1850, Don Bosco and his mother was still awake and working. A knock came at the door. Mama Margaret opened the door. There stood a hungry, wet and scared boy. The boy said, "Can I come in?" and said that he was all alone in the world. Directly, Bosco told his mother that the boy would stay with them.
Looking very good.
Mother said, "Where will he sleep? If necessary, we will sling a basket from the ceiling for a bed," laughed Don Bosco. The boy laughed too. Thus, he was Don Bosco's first orphan. At the oratory, Don Bosco reminded his friends or the youngsters, saying, no bread, no word, no bread. When Don Bosco had a permanent place for his boys, he founded the Salesian congregation under the patronage of Saint Francis de Sales on 18th December 1859. He also founded Daughters of Mary Helper Christians with the help of Saint Mary Majorello in 1875 for the girls. Don Bosco followed a system to teach the youngsters, which he named the preventive system. Preventive system, he means that to prevent a boy or a girl from becoming bad. It is based on Christian charity. In other words, a sense of understanding between a teacher and a student. In January 1888, Don Bosco took to bed with a fever. The doctors said that his body had completely exhausted due to hard work. He died on January 31st, 1888. He was canonized as saint on the Easter Sunday on 1st April 1834 by Pope Pius XI, who knew Don Bosco as a young priest.
Looking very good.
His death anniversary, that is 31st January, is kept aside to celebrate his feast. I'd like to conclude my speech with Don Bosco's tip to school students, which we find in our school calendar. First, don't lose time. Second, don't overeat before studying. Third, don't offend God. Fourth, avoid bad companions as poisonous snake. Fifth, choose some studious boy or girl as friend. Sixth, when it is time to play, get in there and play. Seventh, don't daydream.